The hospital called at 3 a.m. Mrs. Patterson, your husband has been in a serious car accident in Chicago. You need to come immediately. I woke up my sister to watch my kids, drove through the night, terrified, praying Robert would be okay. I burst into his hospital room at dawn, ready to hold his hand, tell him I love him. But someone was already holding his hand, a woman I'd never seen, with 2 kids sleeping in chairs. She looked at me confused. Can I help you? I'm Robert's wife. Who are you? Her face went pale. I'm Robert's wife. That's when I realized my entire marriage was a lie. Before we begin, comment where you're watching from. Enjoy the story. Let me take you back to the beginning, to help you understand how something like this could happen. Rachel Patterson had been married to Robert for 8 years. They'd met at a marketing conference in Boston. He was charming, successful, a regional sales director for a pharmaceutical company. They dated for a year, got married in a small ceremony, bought a house in Connecticut, had 2 children, Lily, age 6, and Mason, age 4. From the outside, their life looked perfect. Robert was a good husband, attentive when he was home, played with the kids, helped around the house. He just traveled a lot for work. That's what Rachel thought. Every Monday morning, Robert would kiss her goodbye. Chicago office needs me this week. Back Wednesday night. He'd been doing this for 5 years. 2 days a week in Chicago. Sometimes 3. Regional management responsibilities, he'd explained when the travel started. Part of the promotion. More money, but more time away. Rachel had supported it. The extra income was good. They'd upgraded their house, put money into college funds, took nice vacations. The travel was manageable. Other wives had it worse. At least he was only gone 2 or 3 days at a time. Robert was consistent about his schedule. Always Monday and Tuesday. Sometimes Wednesday, always Chicago, never varied. Rachel appreciated the predictability. She could plan her week around it. Monday and Tuesday, she was a single parent. Wednesday through Sunday, they were a family. It worked, or so she thought. Robert kept his 2 lives meticulously separated. In Connecticut, he was Robert Patterson, husband to Rachel, father to Lily and Mason, sales director with the Chicago territory. In Chicago, he was Robert Patterson, husband to Jennifer, father to Emma and Lucas, same job, same company, different family. Jennifer thought she'd met Robert 6 years ago at a work event in Chicago. He'd recently relocated there for a promotion, he'd said. Divorced, he'd claimed. His ex-wife and kids lived in New York. He had custody every other weekend, but tried to keep his family life private because the divorce had been messy. Jennifer had understood. She was divorced too, had a young daughter from her first marriage. When Robert proposed after a year, she'd said yes. They'd gotten married at City Hall, small ceremony, just close friends. Robert said he didn't want a big wedding after the disaster of his first one. They bought a house in a Chicago suburb, had a son together, built what Jennifer thought was a simple, happy life. Robert traveled for work. Every Thursday and Friday, sometimes Monday. Connecticut office needs support, he'd say. Regional responsibilities. Jennifer never questioned it. Why would she? He always came home. Always called when he was away. Was a good father to her daughter Emma from her first marriage and their son Lucas. He provided for them. Loved them. Was present when he was home. For 5 years, Robert lived this double life. Monday and Tuesday. Chicago with Jennifer, Emma, and Lucas. Wednesday through Sunday. Connecticut with Rachel, Lily, and Mason. Occasionally, he'd claim a work emergency to adjust the schedule. But mostly, it was consistent. He had 2 phones. Told Rachel his work phone couldn't be disturbed during family time. Told Jennifer the same thing. 2 email accounts. 2 sets of credit cards from different banks. 2 insurance policies. 2 everything. The logistics were complicated, exhausting, but Robert made it work. Until he didn't. The night that changed everything was a Monday in October. Robert was driving from the Chicago airport to Jennifer's house. It was raining. A truck ran a red light. Hit Robert's car at full speed. The impact crushed the driver's side. Broke Robert's leg in 3 places. Fractured his ribs. Gave him a severe concussion. The paramedics found his wallet. His Connecticut license with Rachel listed as emergency contact. They called her. Rachel got the call at 3 a.m. Connecticut time, 2 a.m. Chicago time. Mrs. Patterson? This is Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Your husband Robert has been in a serious accident. He's stable but injured. Can you come? Rachel's world tilted. Robert was supposed to be in Chicago. That part was normal. But a serious accident? Stable but injured? She needed to get there. She called her sister Michelle. I need you to watch Lily and Mason. Robert's been in an accident. I have to go to Chicago. Michelle came over immediately. Rachel threw clothes in a bag. Got in her car. Started the 3-hour drive at 3:30 a.m. Drove through the dark, praying, crying, terrified. She arrived at the hospital at 6:45 a.m., ran to the reception desk. Robert Patterson. Car accident. Where is he? The receptionist checked. Room 412, 4th floor. Rachel took the elevator. Her hands were shaking. She'd never been so scared. The elevator doors opened. She found room 412. The door was slightly open. She could hear voices inside. She pushed the door open fully. And stopped dead. Robert was in the hospital bed, bandaged, leg in a cast, looking groggy and pale, but alive. Thank God alive. But he wasn't alone. A woman sat in the chair next to his bed, holding his hand. She was about Rachel's age. Brown hair, tired eyes, wearing yoga pants and a sweatshirt like she'd thrown on whatever was closest. 2 children were asleep in chairs on the other side of the room. A girl, maybe 8 or 9. A boy younger, maybe 5. The woman looked up when Rachel entered. Her expression was confused but not hostile. Can I help you? She asked quietly, clearly trying not to wake the children. Rachel's brain couldn't process what she was seeing. Who was this woman? Why was she here? Why was she holding Robert's hand? I'm Rachel Patterson, she said slowly. Robert's wife. Who are you? The woman's face changed. Confusion shifted to shock. She stood up abruptly, dropping Robert's hand. What? No, I'm Jennifer Patterson. I'm Robert's wife. The room went completely silent, except for the beeping of medical equipment. Rachel felt like the floor was falling away beneath her. That's impossible. I'm his wife. We've been married for 8 years. Jennifer's voice was shaking. We've been married for 6 years. We have a son. I have a daughter he's raising. I have 2 children with him. Lily and Mason? They're in Connecticut with my sister right now. Both women turned to look at Robert. He was awake. Barely. The concussion had him groggy, but he was conscious enough to understand what was happening. His face had gone white. Robert! Rachel's voice was ice. What the hell is going on? He tried to speak. His voice was rough. Rachel, Jennifer, I can explain. Explain? Jennifer's voice was rising. Explain what? That you have 2 wives? 2 families? A nurse came in, drawn by the raised voices. Ladies, please, Mr. Patterson needs rest. You'll have to... We're not going anywhere, Rachel said firmly. We both need answers. Now. The nurse looked between the 3 of them. Understanding dawned on her face. She'd worked in hospitals long enough to have seen everything. But this was new. I'll give you privacy. But keep it quiet. There are other patients. She left. Robert tried to sit up. Winced in pain. I never meant for either of you to find out this way. Find out? Rachel felt hysteria building. Find out that my entire marriage is a lie? That you have another family? How is this even possible? Jennifer demanded. How did you do this? For 6 years? 8 years for me, Rachel said numbly. He's been lying to me for 8 years. Robert closed his eyes. I love you both. I never wanted to hurt anyone. You love us both? Jennifer's laugh was bitter. You can't love two people. You can't have two families. That's not love. I don't even know what that is. It started by accident, Robert said weakly. Rachel and I were married. I got the promotion, started traveling to Chicago, met Jennifer. I meant to but then I fell in love, and I couldn't choose. I couldn't give up either of you. So you just decided to keep us both? Rachel's voice was shaking. To lie to us every single day for years? I compartmentalized. Monday and Tuesday, I was with Jennifer. Wednesday through Sunday, I was with Rachel. I kept everything separate. Different credit cards. Different phones. You never had reason to suspect. That doesn't make it okay. Jennifer was crying now. You married me knowing you were already married. That's bigamy. That's illegal. Rachel felt numb. Our entire marriage. Every time you went to Chicago, you weren't working. You were with her. And every time you went to Connecticut, Jennifer added, you were with her. I was working, Robert insisted. I do work for the company. The Chicago office is real. The Connecticut territory is real. I just lived in both places. With both families, Rachel finished. Yes. The simple admission hung in the air. Rachel looked at Jennifer. Really looked at her. This woman was a victim too. She hadn't known any more than Rachel had. Neither of them had been willing participants in this deception. Jennifer seemed to realize the same thing. How did you afford this? She asked Robert. 2 mortgages? 2 families? Credit cards, Robert admitted. Loans, I'm in a lot of debt. How much debt? Rachel demanded. Robert hesitated. About $200,000. The number hit like a physical blow. Rachel sat down hard in the empty chair. $200,000. You've put us $200,000 in debt to maintain your double life? It's in my name only, Robert said. You won't be responsible. We're married, Rachel shouted. That makes me responsible. And what about our kids? What about their college funds? Their future? Jennifer was shaking. Our house. The mortgage. Can we even afford it? I don't know, Robert admitted. The honesty was somehow worse than the lies. A doctor came in. Mr. Patterson needs to rest. The concussion is serious. He needs to face what he's done, Rachel said coldly. But she stood up. So did Jennifer. They walked out of the room together, stood in the hallway in silence. I can't believe this is real, Jennifer finally said. I keep thinking I'll wake up. Me too. Rachel felt tears starting. 8 years. I gave him 8 years. 6 for me, plus 2 years dating. 8 total. They looked at each other. 2 women who'd both loved the same man. Both been betrayed by him. Both had their lives destroyed by his choices. What do we do now? Jennifer asked. Rachel took a breath. We figure it out, together. Over the next few hours, Rachel and Jennifer sat in the hospital cafeteria and compared their lives. Every detail, every story Robert had told them, every excuse, every lie. When Robert said he was working late in Connecticut, he was home with Jennifer in Chicago. When he told Jennifer he was traveling to Connecticut for work, he was home with Rachel. His work emergencies were birthday parties and school events he had to attend in both places. His client dinners were date nights with whichever wife he wasn't currently with. "He took me to that Italian restaurant for our anniversary last month," Jennifer said. "The fancy one downtown. He took me there for Valentine's Day," Rachel said quietly. "Probably got a discount for being a regular." The joke was bitter, but they both almost smiled. Trauma bonding in real time, they pulled out their phones, started going through photos. Robert at Jennifer's house. Different furniture, different pictures on the walls. Different life, Robert at Rachel's house. Different everything. He'd kept them so completely separate. No overlap, no evidence. Until now. "The kids," Jennifer said suddenly. "Your kids don't know about mine. Mine don't know about yours. What do we tell them?" Rachel asked. "How do we explain that their father has been lying to everyone?" "I don't know, but they'll have to know eventually. They have half-siblings they've never met." The weirdness of the situation kept hitting them in waves. Rachel's children had siblings in Chicago they didn't know existed. Jennifer's children had siblings in Connecticut. Robert had 4 children total, and none of them knew about each other. "I'm filing for divorce," Rachel said. "Obviously." "Same," Jennifer agreed. "But there's a problem. We can't both be married to him. Legally, only one of us is actually his wife." They stared at each other as the realization hit. "I married him 8 years ago in Connecticut," Rachel said. "I married him 6 years ago in Chicago," Jennifer said. That means my marriage isn't legal," Jennifer finished. "You were already married to him, which means he committed bigamy when he married me, which means I'm not actually his wife. I'm just, what? His girlfriend? The mother of his child in a fake marriage?" Rachel felt a wave of sympathy for her, for this woman who was somehow both her enemy and her ally. "I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. You didn't know either." Jennifer's voice was hollow. "But this means I have fewer legal protections. No divorce settlement. No spousal support. Just nothing." "We'll figure it out," Rachel promised. "We're in this together now." They went back upstairs. Robert was sleeping. They stood on either side of his hospital bed. 2 wives, or 1 wife and 1, whatever Jennifer legally was, looking down at the man who'd destroyed both their lives. "What were you thinking?" Rachel asked quietly, even though he was asleep. "How did you think this would end?" Jennifer reached out, took Rachel's hand. "It doesn't matter what he thought. What matters is what we do now." Robert stayed in the hospital for 3 days. Rachel and Jennifer stayed in Chicago. Not together. Jennifer went home to her children. Rachel stayed in a hotel. But they met every day, compared notes, made plans, consulted lawyers. Rachel's lawyer was clear. "You're the legal wife. You file for divorce. You're entitled to half of all marital assets, but you're also responsible for half his debt. Even the debt he incurred for his other family, unless you can prove in court that the debt was solely for his benefit and you received no benefit from it, yes. That's how marital debt works." Jennifer's lawyer was more complicated. "Your marriage isn't legal, which means you have no claim to his assets, but you also have no responsibility for his debts. What about child support? You can file for that, as the mother of his child. But you won't get spousal support because you were never legally married. He lied to me for 6 years. Told me we were married. Signed papers. We had a ceremony. I know. And you might have a case for fraud. Civil suit. But it's complicated and expensive. And given that he's $200,000 in debt, you probably won't recover much." Both women left their lawyer meetings feeling defeated. Robert was released from the hospital on day 4. Rachel had gone back to Connecticut. Couldn't stay any longer. Had to get back to her kids. Jennifer picked Robert up. Drove him home. Their home. Helped him inside, then handed him papers. What's this? Notice that I'm suing you for fraud. For lying about our marriage. For child support for Lucas. For damages. Jennifer, don't. I've heard enough of your excuses. I've talked to Rachel. We know everything now. Every lie. Every manipulation. Every choice you made to keep both of us trapped in this sick situation you created. I loved you. I love you. No, you loved having 2 lives. 2 families. 2 women who didn't know about each other. That's not love. That's narcissism. Jennifer left him in their living room, went upstairs, started packing. She and the kids moved in with her mother that night. Rachel filed for divorce the next week. The proceedings were ugly. Robert tried to claim he'd been planning to leave Jennifer, that it was just an affair. Rachel's lawyer presented evidence, marriage certificate from Chicago, joint bank account, mortgage in both names, photos spanning 6 years. Robert had married Jennifer knowing he was already married. Had committed bigamy. The judge was not sympathetic. Mr. Patterson, you have committed a serious crime. Bigamy is illegal in this state. I'm referring this case to the district attorney for potential prosecution. Robert's face went white. Beyond the criminal aspect, your financial situation is a disaster. You have $200,000 in debt, 2 mortgages, 4 children who need support, and 2 women you've defrauded. The divorce settlement was painful. Rachel got the Connecticut house, but also half the debt. Robert was ordered to pay child support for Lily and Mason, but given his financial situation and potential jail time, the amount was less than it should have been. Jennifer's lawsuit took longer, but eventually she won a settlement for fraud. Not much. $50,000. It didn't cover the years of lies, but it was something. Robert lost his job. The scandal was too much. His company didn't want the publicity. He filed for bankruptcy. Lost the Chicago house. Jennifer and the kids had to move out. Everything was sold to pay creditors. Robert moved into a small apartment, alone. Saw his children on supervised visits. Was convicted of bigamy. Sentenced to 2 years probation. Rachel and Jennifer stayed in touch. Not friends exactly, but connected by the shared trauma of loving the same man, of being betrayed by him, of having to rebuild their lives from the wreckage he'd created. A year after everything fell apart, they met for coffee. Jennifer had moved to a different state. Fresh start. Lucas was doing okay. Emma, her daughter from her first marriage, was in therapy, processing the weirdness of having a stepdad who wasn't actually her stepdad because the marriage was fake. Rachel was still in Connecticut, still in the house, still paying off debt. Lily and Mason knew the basics. Dad had lied. Dad had another family. It was complicated. They were too young to really understand. Do you ever wonder how we didn't know? Jennifer asked. Every day, Rachel admitted. But the truth is he was good at lying. He'd been doing it so long it was second nature. I keep thinking about red flags I missed. The way he never wanted big holidays with my family. How he was always busy on certain days. The way he kept his phone face down. Same, but we weren't looking for them. Why would we? We trusted him. That's what makes it so sick. He built 2 lives on that trust, and then destroyed them both when the truth came out. They sat in silence for a moment. Do the kids ever ask about each other? Rachel asked carefully. Lucas asks about his half-siblings sometimes. I don't know what to tell him. Same with Lily and Mason. They know they have half-siblings in Chicago. But we've never met. Should we? Jennifer asked. Let them meet? Rachel thought about it. Maybe someday. When they're older? When they can understand it better. Or maybe never, Jennifer said. Maybe we don't need to be connected to Robert in any way. even through the kids. Maybe. But both women knew that was impossible. They were forever connected. By their children. By their shared history with the same man. By the betrayal they'd both endured. 5 years after everything fell apart, Rachel was doing well. She'd paid off half the debt. Had a good job. Was dating someone new. Someone honest. Someone who could only manage one relationship at a time, thank God. Lily and Mason were 11 and 9. They remembered their dad but didn't see him much. He'd moved away. Started over somewhere else. Sent child support irregularly. Called occasionally. But he was mostly gone from their lives. Which was probably for the best. Jennifer had rebuilt her life too. Remarried. A man who knew the whole story and loved her anyway. Lucas had a stepdad who was actually a stepdad. Legally, honestly, no lies. Emma was in high school. Had trust issues but was working through them. Rachel and Jennifer still texted occasionally. Birthday wishes for the kids. Updates on Robert's child support payments or lack thereof. The connection that had started in trauma had transformed into something like friendship. They never met the kids. Decided it was better to keep that separation. Less confusing, but they'd both agreed. If the kids wanted to meet someday when they were adults, the door was open. Robert had tried to reach out to Rachel once. 2 years after the divorce. I'm sorry for everything. I know that's not enough. But I needed you to know I loved you. I loved both of you. I just loved you differently. Rachel had read the email. Deleted it. Blocked him. Because love that required lying wasn't love. It was manipulation. It was selfishness. It was narcissism. Real love didn't require you to destroy someone's life. Didn't require you to build a second family behind their back. Didn't require you to lie every single day for years. Robert had taught her what love wasn't. And in doing so, helped her recognize what it should be. 7 years later, Rachel married Tom. A teacher. Steady. Honest. Boring in the best way. Someone whose biggest secret was that he didn't like cilantro but pretended to for her sake. Someone who had one phone. One family, one life. At the wedding, Rachel's sister Michelle gave a toast. I'm so proud of my sister. Not just for finding love again after betrayal, but for knowing her worth. For understanding that she deserved better, and for not letting one man's lies define her future. Rachel looked out at the guests. Her kids, her new husband. Her family and friends. This was real. This was honest. This was love. Jennifer sent a card. Congratulations on your wedding. You deserve all the happiness. Thank you for being my unexpected ally through the worst time of my life. Rachel kept the card. Because Jennifer was right. They'd been unexpected allies. 2 women who'd loved the same man. Been betrayed by him. And survived him. Together. Years later, someone asked Rachel if she regretted the 8 years with Robert. I regret the lies, but I don't regret the experience. Because it taught me something valuable. What? That you can survive anything. That women are stronger together than apart. And that sometimes the worst betrayal teaches you the most important lesson. Which is, know your worth. And never settle for someone who can't see it. What did you think of Rachel's story? Comment below. Rate 0-10. Subscribe for more unbelievable true stories.